I was pissed. I'm like, why the hell is it 5 in the morning? I'm wearing shorts and it's barely March.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude. Yesterday, like I remember, yesterday we had to run a couple errands and stuff like that, and first start off with the little man's soccer game. We go out there. I got like on jeans and a t-shirt because I got to go to this church event after the fact, and I'm thinking, all right, let me look decently nice.
Hmm.
I swear, like, walked outside and walked out the car, and like before we even get to the soccer field, like I can already feel the sweat on my body, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me! It ain't even March yet. What? Like, so that
Yeah,
yeah, had to
I
change
was
shirts and
annoyed.
stuff like that all over. It's crazy.
That's funny. That
But shit,
so you
it
talk about
ain't funny.
sports.
It is not funny. I was super mad. And yesterday too, chilling at the house and got the windows open because God's natural energy. I want that air in there and anything like that. See a couple of the kids walking by sweating. I'm like, damn, they sweating in the house. I can't do that. So I had to finally turn the AC on. I don't like to touch the thermostat until like April, May, but it's like I can't have them being uncomfortable. And they're like, no, Dad, we're okay. Like this, it's 85 degrees in the house. I'm like, no, I can't. What kind of a whack dad would I be having my kids and Mildred walking around sweating? So I'm like, shut the windows, let's
Builds
do it. You know
character.
what I'm saying?
Right?
That's what
That's
I'm
funny.
So,
saying. Yeah.
Hilarious. So you
but
guys are talking about so my kids obviously are in basketball. And one of the things they're starting to play is bump out. Now,
okay.
Nice.
were you guys fans of bump out? Because my opinion, I was never a huge fan of it. It always made me seem like busters would look heroic, just throwing it off, chucking it. A bad bounce would end up, like there was so much chance involved that the skill of just making the free throw or the 3-point shot or whatever was really, the factor. So, anyways, it frustrated me more than anything because I'm like, man, I'm better than half these fools. I'm out in like the third person, just because of.
I mean,
Well,
I kind
apparently
of
you
dig
weren't
it.
better though.
That's the point. I kind of dig it because it's making you kind of like have to work under pressure. And you had to make that
Yeah.
free throw because if you didn't make that free throw, you knew what time it was. They were, like you said, them jokers were just ready like this. They're like, I wish you would miss it. And you missed it.
And
So,
then, I
yeah,
mean, they don't even
quick throw.
bump anymore. It used to now be like bump your ball 3 courts down the, thing,
Yeah. Yeah.
which
Yeah.
would be like, man, I don't even want to play this.
Then make
I
it as simple as that.
when I did it, like we didn't do free throw, we did the 3-point line, and that was like again, like as frustrating as it would be when like again busters are just like bump your ball, so you gotta go run and chase it or whatever. It also again, like Don was saying, it's like it made you be like, all right, yeah, I need to make this first shot, so I don't even have to worry about that situation. And the minute you do hit that first shot, and all you gotta do is grab your ball and go back, it's like, yeah, like
Hmm.
hella satisfaction. Now when you do lose off of some like miracle, like someone just chucks it up because you unfortunately did miss it. I get what you're saying, Harold. I'd be mad as hell too, but I'm not so mad at this like lucky ass as Buster as I am at myself because I'm like, man, like this is horrible. Like I should have made that. I can't let this dude beat me. You know what I mean? So I enjoyed the game for the most part.
That was
Yeah.
never a thing from when I grew up. I never played it.
No,
I never
okay.
even heard of it.
Really?
Yeah, I
So the
never even heard of it.
concept
How y'all
is like
explaining it?
the concept is you have like everybody's lined up to shoot a shot, whether it's a free throw or a 3-point shot, right? And like so you have the first two people on the line, they have the ball. Person number one, they shoot the ball. If they make it, then they, give the ball to the third person in the line, and they get back in line themselves. So it's just a line of people shooting, shooting, shooting. And the person who shoots first has to make their shot before the second person makes their shot after them. So like I'm in line, Harold's in line, Don's in line, then you're in line, right? So I shoot my shot. If I miss it, or right after I shoot my shot, Harold has the opportunity to shoot because he's the second person, right? If I miss
Hmm.
it, Harold has the opportunity to shoot it and make it. If he makes it before I make mine, I'm bumped out per se. And that's just what it is. It's
Okay.
like you keep on shooting to like, the last one standing type deal.
Okay. I think I've seen it something like that, like on YouTube or what have you. But yeah, I never played it when I was younger or nothing like that. So hey, that sounds
Yeah.
cool. I don't know. Yeah,
Kids
same. I
look
don't know
forward
if I
to it.
like it. Like I said, unless you hit that first shot, then you safe or whatever.
So Don, do your kids play that as well? What in their practice
In the practice, yeah, that's usually what they do at the end.
at the
If
end?
they
Yeah.
don't run like a quick little half court, they play bump out. And then obviously like the last kid standing, like the winner, and then they get to sit out for the suicides for the next practice or
Mhm.
whatever. So yeah, give them a little
Hey,
motivation to really hit that joint. You know what I mean?
Did
that's
you
what's
enjoy
up.
it back in the day, the foothills days, the cactus days?
Uh, Foothills, yeah. Cactus, I didn't play that much in Cactus. I was always getting in trouble with the coach, so I didn't really play much out. But Foothills, yeah, I played in Foothills, and I had a blast. I loved it, and I tried again Cactus, but Little Me, yeah, it's I was a little defiant, so I didn't last that long. I think I was on the freshman team for this long, and that was it. And then I went over to attempt to play football, and I couldn't stand Mr. Feckenhire, so I didn't play much sports actually in high school, which I kind of regret, but that's for another
Eh,
topic for another day.
wowzer.
That's crazy.
But
Shoot, I did. What did I do? I did tennis in high school. That was cool. I was on a little varsity tennis team. Then I
wow.
was going to be on the wrestling team, but I couldn't do it when I was sick and all that stuff. Long story, but yeah, I did tennis for like the 3 years or yeah, that was cool. And well, one year we didn't even have a tennis team because we didn't even have enough people to join in it.
Mm.
A little have like
Yeah,
have messing in
clubs.
school. They don't really gravitate towards tennis and stuff. So it is what
Y'all
it
have
is.
golf?
They had golf too, but I thought
Okay.
about doing that, but it was the same time as tennis, so I couldn't do both. So that was cool though. But yeah, I thought about doing that. But the same thing, I don't think they had a lot of people on the golf team, but they had a golf team there too.
Right,
Yeah.
Man,
trying to be.
hindsight's 2020. Because if I knew what I know now, like I probably would have did. The only thing I ended up doing officially was just track, but I would have did football, track, and I would have tried way harder than I already did at basketball. But with high school, the politics involved with sports and things of that nature, and that's probably part of the reason why I would have did football because everybody that was on the football team was on the basketball team, and it's kind of like, all right, well, we already know you. You're a familiar face. You got a little bit of skill. All right, yeah, let's go ahead and bring you on the squad or whatever. But also apparently, like, and I'm not trying to gas myself up or anything, but I remember being up at LA Fitness playing basketball and stuff like that. And a couple times, some old heads would be like, "Oh yeah, like, oh, do you play football? Do you do?" And I don't know how like my basketball translated to football, but apparently, like they're thinking I could be good again, interceptions and stuff like that, to which I'd be a cornerback. I really wasn't a physical dude, so I think I'd probably be more so a wide receiver than a cornerback. But hey, it would have been something to try at least to branch out versus being all focused and dedicated on basketball alone. Um, Golf, I didn't think about, but apparently, like at our school, people were getting scholarships and stuff like that for golf, so that would have been helpful from a college standpoint. So maybe I'd look into that. And tennis is hella dope now. And I remember when I was like a little kid, my dad like tried to get me and my brother into tennis, and just didn't gravitate towards it. But that would have been a cool thing to do too, especially like in my school, 50% white, 25% Mexican, and then Asian, black, and etc. Like the last little small cluster. It'd be weird being like the lone black kid on like a tennis team or a golf team or uh I wouldn't do swimming because they were wearing Speedos. One of my best friends is a white dude. He was in that, and I was like, nah, I ain't feeling that. But definitely like would have branched out and did more things instead of just being completely focused on basketball back then.
Yeah, I wish I did a few more things. Like I tried to do football. I did it once. After I got hit hard that one time, I was like, yeah, I'm good. I'm cool on this one. But then like I was trying to get my daughter into tennis because that would have been something I could have definitely helped her with. But she did track, volleyball, cheer, and basketball, which was still cool. Like I still
That's
helped
a
her out
grip.
with that. I went to all the practices. I went to all that stuff and helped her train, helped her shoot because we have a little basketball court at the apartment complex. So we still helped her out with the other stuff. But that's something like with tennis, I could have definitely helped her out given the fact that I did that for so long, and I still got a couple of my tennis rackets in there. So thinking
I
about
think
trying
that's
to get
what
my son into it. But yeah, we'll see.
I like again being able to try those different types of things, like especially when you have a PE class, and I know they focus so much on STEM nowadays in school, but like the PE thing allows you to at least dip your toe in badminton and see how hard it is to hit the birdie, whatever, or dip your toe in tennis and like it looks easy on TV, but like they actually have to chase the ball and stay within the lines and serve it at a certain
Hmm.
angle. Like all of that takes a lot of effort and time that you would never know if you had never tried it. And I feel like
Exactly.
having the appreciation for the sport, knowing how difficult it is to hit a golf, you know, club so many yards, stay on the fairway and then putt and all those types of things, um, I think is maybe something that's lost as people stay in the house more. So,
Yeah. Yeah, you say, yeah, you don't realize how hard that stuff is until you do it. I remember lining on the tennis, like on the other side serving. I would line like four balls on like the corner, the middle, the two middles, and then the other side, on the other side trying to serve and just hit the ball to each one and stuff. And if I miss one, I would start all over until I hit all four. So even on that third one, if I missed on that third, I would start all over until I get all four and stuff. So it's like I said, just line it up perfectly and hit it in the right spot. It's effort. And then having the endurance, I used to run like 5 miles a day, which was cool at the city park back in Denver. You know how big that city park is in Denver, Don. I used to run that. My practice was at the city park and stuff like that every like week or I forgot, like a couple times a week. I forgot how many days a week we did it, but yeah, it was cool.
so when did your all's focus turn from like school, sports, video games to like girls? Like, do you remember like what age you were or what grade you were?
I
Was
mean, unfortunately, probably for me, dumb early. Like, I mean, that's why I didn't do sports. I mean, the majority of it. No, I mean, realistically, probably. I mean, shit, probably 11 or 12. I'm middle school for me. Middle school is when like I knew. I was like, yeah, I need to see what time it is early. And then
new?
I yeah, I that's when because also too like that's when I started like switching up just my everyday. Like, okay, I need to learn how to be funny because I know funny attracts girls, or put on the certain like clothes or certain shoes because I know that attracts girls. Or okay, is it playing basketball at the court? All right, bet. Let me go try to do this and a little extra sauce because it attracts like everything. Not my primary focus, but a lot of it was to try to make sure that like the female attention was always positive. So for me, middle school, early. All right, I knew
Wow.
that.
Sounds
Yeah.
like it worked.
I mean,
You know
I
what I mean?
mean, it didn't fail. Yes, it definitely didn't fail. I have no complaints in that area. You feel me?
That's funny. I don't
Yeah.
know, because I always knew, like, obviously, I was like saying young, like, oh shoot, this girl's cute as heck or whatever, since age freaking 9, 8, 9, whatever, something like that. But I just focused on everything. I didn't like start dating until damn near after I graduated. Because I don't consider like those 2 week relationships in middle school and high school actually dating, because we didn't really do anything besides like hold hands or kiss or whatever. So it is what it is. And then I find out, oh, this girl has another boyfriend at this other high school and stuff, and come in like I remember the day I was with this girl, and I still remember, it's crazy, freaking high school stuff. But kissing on her
Wow.
one day, and then go to meet her at her class, and to walk her to the bus stop or whatever, and then find out her boyfriend from another school came and picked her up, and seeing them, and she's like, no, 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 no. I was like, are you kidding me right now? Like, really now? I was like, wow, okay.
And it went downhill from there. Like,
Yeah. And then I was like, okay, trust is big. I'm like, okay.
And you
And I think
looking
I
at it all
still
wrong.
like,
That just gave you the green light to do the same thing. I'm like, okay, cool.
shoot,
So
I
like,
didn't.
no, let's keep the same scenario. So like, you got your dude over there, so that you just gave me the green light. So now I can Sheila across the street. I can indulge in
I don't
that
think that's
too.
the moral of that
Bet
story.
it
Right?
isn't my
I didn't
it
have
isn't my story. My
I didn't
chapter
have
just
that
got even
mindset.
better.
I didn't have that mindset then. Like you said, Brian was just saying, hindsight's 2020. Like if I knew what I know now, no, then I would
There
have
you
been
go.
a different animal. But like I said, but that's I said it before. Like I didn't give that V card out until damn near 21. So I didn't really do anything until like a week before I turned 21. So I was little. I went, you can say shy or you can say whatever. Or I was just had a different mindset because I actually believing in the fairy tale of love and stuff from the movies and stuff, thought it was gonna be, oh, I'm gonna marry this person. I'm gonna be with this person for the rest of my life. And unfortunately, none of that didn't happen.
I'm right there with you. I had that same kind of mentality, and like I think that was like my mentality with respect to a lot of things, where it's like, oh, I saw it in a movie. This is how it happens, so I just follow that routine, and like so I never went out like seeking out like, oh yeah, like let me you know do certain things to get a girlfriend, whether it's I need to dress a certain way or I need to be with the popular kids, so on and so forth. I just thought, hey, like it's cool to be cool. It's cool to be popular. It's cool to wear cool clothes and stuff. I didn't necessarily like have my focus thinking like this is what's gonna get me a girl. I just figured, okay, well, I'm gonna like a girl. She's just gonna like me, and then we'll start dating or whatever, right? So I feel like
Right.
I never got to that point of like transitioning from basketball to girls. But the problem is, I also had that same mentality with basketball. You watch all these like like underdog stories where it's like, oh, he like winning, he practiced every single day, and then he finally made the team. Oh, he got cut this time, but then he's gonna practice harder, and next time he's gonna make the team. I remember back talking with Harold. I don't know, this was like probably like freshman or sophomore year or some junk, and Don can relate because he went to Cactus. Mark Bowens.
Yep,
Mark
yep.
Bowens was like the superstar ball player at your guys' school, Cactus. And I remember, I guess there was an article or something Harold said they had in like the school newspaper about dude shot like 600 shots a day. I'm like, oh, okay, so he did 600 shots. All right, I know I want to be great. I'm gonna shoot 1,000 shots, and I have like a all lined up spot of like where I'm gonna shoot so many shots to equate to 1,000. Probably my entire life, I only like achieved that maybe 3 times. So maybe it's, the fact that I didn't do enough that is the reason I ain't in the league now or whatever. But my focus always was still on that, like every year I get cut, like, all right, yeah, let me just practice harder. Let me do this. Let me do like all these things to get basketball. And so dating and stuff like that was on the back burner because I just thought that would come naturally. I didn't realize I had to put forth effort because all these stupid movies and fairy tales make you think like, all right, yeah, just be a good person, treat women right, blah, blah, blah. And then also, I'm not ashamed to say it, I was putting the pussy on a pedestal, you know what I mean? Where I thought like, all right, like, hey, I really like this girl. I need to show her the world. Let me like, get her flowers and chocolates and everything. This when it's like, no, like girls, at least in that age when you're in high school and junior high and stuff like that, no, they want you to be a funny a-hole, apparently, and I just need to be a funny a-hole. So yes, again, hindsight, if I knew what I know now, yes,
Oh,
I probably
please.
no, I like swear, like I'd probably be like,
You can't
uh,
turn
uh,
that
uh,
on and turn it off.
no, but you know the game now. The key word is the game. It's a game, and it's like, all right, this girl that I first talked to, like that I'm like vibing and crushing with and loving or whatever. Yeah, I like her now, but we're gonna get older, and she's not gonna be. So I don't need to be thinking like I'm gonna have like a life, 30 years down the line, 40 years down the line with her or whatever, because that's the way I went into relationships, thinking like, all right, well, what would our kids look like? Well, what would this happen? Or, where would we like I was thinking about that when I was younger, not with every single girl that I dated, but I went into it thinking like, all right, yeah, this is gonna I didn't think I'm gonna go out with this girl and it's just gonna last 2 weeks, you know what I mean? I was thinking it's gonna last like years and so
I want to know what kind
my
of movies
mentality dating wise was off.
I want to know what movies y'all was watching because you keep saying like, oh, in the movies when I was a kid, it says like lovey dovey this. I'm like, did y'all not watch How to Be a Player as kids? Did y'all not
No,
watch Boomerang
I,
as kids? Did
yeah,
y'all not watch Booty Call as kids? Come on, man. We watched the movies as kids. It wasn't nothing about no love, life, and marriage. It was like,
First
talking
of all,
about
Even
first
how to
off,
be
those
a
okay, okay,
player
movies
okay,
ended
and
in
how
okay,
to
okay,
that.
okay.
No,
feel
hold on.
Hold on,
early
hold on,
Because
on.
hold
like,
on, hold on. Let
because
me
even
get back to that
What
one.
we
no,
Okay,
talking
hold
about,
on.
bro?
so
You guys
Don,
were
Because
watching
even
them
in
Jennifer
Boomerang,
Lopez like
Don,
romantic comedies. Stop it, okay? As a
Don.
child, you were not watching that. Stop.
yes,
But Don,
that's
Love
Don,
and
why.
Don, Don.
basketball.
Okay, you said three
Yeah,
movies, right? How to Be a Player, right? Number one, right?
yeah.
How to Be a Player. Okay, so what happens in How to Be a Player? Yes, he's a player the entire time, but then
Okay,
what happens at the end? He gets caught up, right? So it's
okay.
like, oh, so again, all these movies you're referencing are like moral movies where it's like, all right, well, you do something bad, this is what's gonna happen. So me again being like dumb or uh uh, a novice or inexperienced or whatever, I'm like, oh, okay, well, yeah, as fun as that looks, I shouldn't do that because that's being wrong or whatever, right? Boomerang, what happens? Okay, well, yes, he's being a player and all this stuff or whatever, but then at the end, oh yeah, he finds a girl he loves or falls in, you know what I mean? It's like all this stuff happens in the movie, but the moral or the lesson behind the movie is true love. You know, that's always the case. So that's
You're
really
right.
how I
So
looked at
stay
these
there.
movies.
So stay there. So you said yourself that, oh, I didn't the movies that you watched were like, I'm just gonna wait until someone falls in love with me. These movies I just showed you is they went out and they found it. They went out and they did their thing and all that good stuff, and they found ways to attract women to eventually they did find their love. They didn't just wait for love to come to them. He put on the suit, he put on the cologne, he put on the this, he drove the sports car, they was playing basketball. Everything I said that I did, that's what they were doing in those movies. So you're right. The moral of the story is love, and we got there eventually, i.e., as did I, but not without having some fun first. I just want to know what movie you guys were watching where it was
But
like
nah,
love at
But
first
also
sight.
it's at
Don't
the
do it.
same
It's a
time.
also
lot.
he accidentally found love that way. You know, it wasn't like he had, and I'll let you speak in a second, Quincy, because I know I'm talking too much. I just had to say, like, you know, like to clarify on my part with the movies or whatever, it's like again, he wasn't like he's trying to find love in those scenarios. He's just trying to get some, but it accidentally happened. So I'm thinking, okay, it's just gonna randomly happen. That's where I'm getting that mentality. And also not the Black Hood movies, but more so just your generic, like, you know, rom-com movie where, you know, like the good guy does get the girl in the end. You know, like you know, it's so cliche, but whether it's
Laura
TV
Winslow.
shows, movies, whatever, yeah, it's like, all right, yeah. Steve Urkel, you know, like he's getting clown for
And
the
that's
longest
even a
time, and
terrible example because she was a big B.
I'm just saying, you know, like again, you know good and well there's TV shows, movies, general, not just the hood movies, the black movies, but like just general where it's like, hey, you know, the good guy gets the girl in the end, like the superhero is never the bad guy. The bad guy, yeah, he gets all this play and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, like, you know, the true colors come out or the true, like, you know, the
I
cliche
can
is
argue, I
yeah.
won't, but I can argue that the good guy does not get the girl. The nice guys, that they say,
I
always
hear you.
finish last. I can argue that, and I
Yeah,
won't. But let Quincy do his thing. But I'm not gonna let
exactly.
you. I'm not letting that rock.
All right, fair enough.
Nah, I feel you in
Okay.
both aspects. It's like, but it's like you're saying, like, he did this, he did that. That was part of his trait, though. But also, it's that whole, the movie genre is called the meet cute, where you meet somebody like he met Angela at work. Certain movies are like that. They meet all in a grocery store. Or they meet like, oh, they went to another country and meet somebody and stuff. But yeah, it at the same time, it's funny because like some of those movies are suck. Some of the worst movies are when you grow older and you actually see it and realize how it sucks towards on the man side of things. Like half the movies that women love and stuff are because the woman cheated on the good guy and end up with a different good guy or whatever. Like,
Thank you.
what is it? The whole Titanic. She cheats on her fiance with the other dude and ends up killing
Oh,
basically dude like the Dear John, like the like Sweet Home Alabama, like she had a whole fiance, good dude, cheated on, even though it was with her ex, still cheated on him. Like the whole
Yeah.
movie where she lied. I didn't even watch the whole thing, but I seen some of it where at the end of the movie she had dementia or whatever, and then she cheated on this dude and ended up going again back with him. And so I was like,
The
this is
Notebook, yep.
funny.
Dan,
They
Don
don't
asked,
yeah,
which
like
these women aren't happy in their relationships. You saw Titanic. Her dude, her billionaire dude was a she didn't like him, so she couldn't
They
wait
always
to get
got to
away.
be so.
not all of them are like they try to make the other guy just to make sure you take her side because if he wasn't a exactly they make that narrative. But like I said,
unrealistically a
Sweet
lot of
Home
times.
Alabama was that dude at Sweet Home
Absolutely,
Alabama?
Sam.
So here's the thought: like, if he's in, why are you with him? Just leave, right?
You know why? Because of the bag.
Like I said,
She,
was he in that other
bro,
movie? Like I said,
he gave her $1 million necklace called Heart of the Ocean. Of course, she was with him. What are you talking about?
So she's still a horrible person then. She's
I
just
didn't
doing
say
it
she
exactly.
for the
wasn't.
bag.
I didn't say she
You know,
wasn't. You're making it sound like it's the man. This is the man that. She knew what time it was.
but what I'm,
Leo
well, I
didn't have
think
to
what
do
Quincy's
much.
getting
Okay,
at,
Leo had
and go
no
ahead
bread. He didn't have to do
and
much.
elaborate with it, Quincy. But I think if I'm siding with Quincy on that, I'm thinking like, like they're always dogging me and talking about, you cheat on this woman, you did this, you did this. yes, the men are bad, but then they glorify these movies where these women are doing all sorts of bad shit too. That's the problem.
Exactly.
I mean,
Exactly. And those are the most dominant, best movies, most loved movies by women. I was like, you realize this story you just watched, right? If it was a reverse where the dude cheated on her and ended up with his ex, you'd be like, this movie sucks. F this, that F man, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, all right, cool.
Yep.
It was
let
funny.
me share my grown up story because I feel like part of this has to do with where you grew up, and so maybe it's a little bit different. Quincy and Don growing up in Denver, but I'm pretty sure it's still like a melting pot of mostly white, with some black and some Mexican and all the other stuff. But I feel like in Arizona, growing up, you start to have like interest in girls and whatnot, maybe early, like you said, 8 or 9, 10 years old, but never really acting on it. And some of that's fear of rejection, some of that's like not knowing what to do, not how to approach. Some of that's just, trying to be corny. But I think what shifted wasn't necessarily confidence. Like I didn't put on my cool swag or I didn't find or discover anything in myself. I think it was also like somewhere happened in that mid 90s to late 90s where black people became cool and the white people or white girls that mostly, because there were maybe only two of us that were not white,
Hmm.
um, they became interested in you as this exotic. Oh, they're kind of cool, hip. Oh, I want to learn or rub off on some of the black culture. Oh, I'm interested in you guys because you've become a thing. Hip hop has become a thing. The movies have become a thing. They're starting to use quotables and stuff that it's like, where'd you get that from? So when all of a sudden everybody heard about Tupac and Biggie and they want to start quoting that, or all of a sudden, they've seen movies, whether it be Friday or whatever, Don't Be a Menace. You ever heard Don't Be a Menace? You're like, to South Central while drinking your juice in the hood? That movie? um, they want to test out the N word on you, all that type of thing. Like, I think it's at that point where you're like, well, white people become interested in black culture, white women become interested in black dudes. You all of a sudden become higher on the priority list of like, oh, let's get to know you. And that doesn't mean they want to date you or whatever, but you just all of a sudden become more interesting. So I think that's where it's like, okay, like they're taking an interest. So now I don't have to like worry about being rejected or seen as weird or, there's like a super mismatch. I think that's what became like a shift. So,
Hmm.
but I feel what Brian was saying too with the consequences, like feeling like when you grew up, especially if you grew up and you went to church a lot, there were the consequences of this isn't right, you should wait, this is sacred, and all the things that that means. But I think it also is part of like in school they teach you these consequences and parents tell you there's these consequences. You're either going to end up with being a statistic where you have a kid early and you're teen mom and all that other stuff, or you have an STD that happens and that's just what happens when you start having sex early. And it's like, really? Is that automatic? Everybody's messing with everybody, and next thing you know, you're scratching and itching. Like, is that how it goes? So that makes you want to be like, all right, I'll put this off. Like, it's a bigger leap, but I don't want to jump into something that I ended up being shut down or turned away or hurt my feelings. So this is an easy excuse. Is like these other reasons as well. So
I'd want to touch on that later, your point, because I don't know if I necessarily agree with it.
what part?
The white women like being into us as almost as if it's a novelty and not like a natural attraction. So I'd want to touch on that later. I'd have to think a little more because I feel like they could be naturally attracted to us and not because like it was a cool thing or a novelty or
It
a
became accepted.
well, but I mean that doesn't necessarily mean it's like because it was a cool thing or because it was the culture. You know what I mean? Like maybe I don't know. I'd have to find a way to articulate it more. I just, as you're saying it, I'm like, I don't look at it as a novelty thing. I guess I don't know. That's kind of how you presented it. Like, oh, we were popping, so now they want to be like, well, since they're popping, I guess it's okay to like them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think there's, at least in my experiences, I've always had women naturally attracted to how I look, not because I look like someone in the music video, or because I look like Allen Iverson or Ludacris or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, or because black is
I'm
cool.
just saying
So
that helped
Yeah,
I,
when you
I,
saw more figures. When.
yeah.
I don't I don't think so, but I understand if that's how it worked for yourself, then I guess I can't combat that and say that you're wrong. But in totality, I don't know if I agree with that.
So I would
To an
That's
say
fair. That's fair.
I didn't experience in Denver mainly because like where I grew up, all I dated or all I was around was either black or Mexican. There's like maybe one or two here and there white people like just in my orbit or whatever. I only remember like having like one or two white friends, really, honestly. Like everybody else is like, Hispanic or black. So I only really dated black and Hispanic girls. Like my first girl that I dated was like Mexican. I was like 8 years old. I still remember her freaking name, like Sylvia. Like, do I remember like every girl like from like 8 to like 18 or whatever that I was interested in or dated or whatever is crazy.
In your
But
journal.
anyway, like yeah, pretty much. So mental Rolodex and stuff. Like, yeah, then it was like, yeah, it was Sylvia Garcia, and then it was like
Dang, first
Melissa
and last name.
Childress. Yeah,
Yeah.
Melissa Childress. Then it was like Felicia Williams, no, Felicia Fletcher. It
Those
was
are your
then it
Facebook searches?
Ari, nah, I wish. Nah. And
Uh,
like, but anyway, but then like the only time I would say I would experience that, and to a certain extent, when I moved out to Arizona and a little bit here, but Arizona for sure. I remember I met this chick at like Buzz or Rio or whatever, and we were dancing and whatever, and then we ended up kicking and hanging out, doing whatever we did. And then I remember I called her, and she was like, she went to ASU. It was funny because she went to ASU, and she's like, "Oh, I'm with my girls right now. Can I call you back?" Or blah blah blah. And I was like, "Yeah, cool." And I guess she forgot to end the call, so I heard her talking about me with her girls and stuff. She's like, "Yeah, I seen this black guy at the club dancing, and I just like I went to him because I just only because he's just like black and dancing, and he knew how to dance, so I definitely knew he probably knew what he was doing in bed and this and that." I was like, "Wow, that's the first time I experienced something like that." I was like, "And hearing something like that," and
Hello?
then the
Hello?
other. Then
That's me.
I was like, okay. And then another chick like told me like, her dad, she started dating black, she dated a black guy because her dad didn't approve and stuff like that. So I think it was like she started dating black dudes because the rebellious aspect of like her dad didn't approve. So she only started dating black guys because of that. So I was like, am I a statistic? Am I just dating you because you trying to make your dad mad or whatever? And I experienced that twice where this other girl I dated, and that was when I moved out here. She's talking about their parents kind of disowned them for a little bit when they found out she was having a black baby and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, but then they finally started accepting them and brought them back into the life and stuff. I was like, okay. So I can
What's
I can understand what you're saying to a certain extent. Because I experienced it to a T. But so and then like I said, either the rebellious aspect where I'm trying to do something quote unquote forbidden, or just like, oh, it's cool. Like they're gonna be different than these other. They're not just the lame white boys that just do this and this
yeah.
and that. So I
Yep.
I experienced, so I can agree with that. I'm
Yeah.
not
So
saying
so
all
why
of them
why
do
would
it,
that?
but
So then why would that be considered uh the second example you use cool with the dad, but like with her being attracted to you because you can dance, like why would that be considered like novelty, right? Like you just said, like she's
All
white
black
or
people
whatever,
can't
and she goes
dance.
to the and she well hold on, she goes to the club and she sees a bunch of dudes that can't dance and has no rhythm, and then here you come in and you busted a couple of moves and she's like, oh damn, I'm into that. Like, what's wrong with that? You know, and I don't
I
that
didn't
wouldn't
say
make me
there's nothing
feel
wrong with it.
that would
I'm
make
just
me feel a
saying,
type of way, or that would make me feel like, oh, you're only with me because I'm looking at you're with me because like apparently you like the way I like move my hips, or I was walking that day, or I was, I was doing some type of dance where like none of the other dudes you with can rock like that. So clearly something attracted, you know what I'm saying, her to you, or vice versa. And I don't look like that as a novelty in my opinion. I don't know.
like I said, I'm not saying that I don't know exactly if that was it just because I was black, but the whole stereotype: black people can't dance, white people cannot. So
I
that
was
could be a factor. I'm
I'm
not
just going
saying
based
it
on what you said
100%
though. You
is.
said that's what she said.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, it could be a factor. I don't know, but like I said, it could be a factor. But like I said, I experienced to a certain extent. But am I saying like every white girl that dates a black dude is into him because of that? No, but I'm sure there are some. I guarantee there's some.
Go ahead, Brian.
So like uh first of all, a couple different things, but first thing to note, like I have rhythm, but I'm not Chris Brown. So I mean, like as far as the dancing aspect of it, like like yeah, I can dance on beat and whatnot, but I ain't got all these flashy moves and things of that nature. Just throwing that out there because the wife was here in the dance convo, and she's like, "You can't dance," whatever. But
Wow.
anyways,
She's a part of
anyway,
this.
yeah, she being a hater, she eavesdropping or whatever. So yeah, let's not bring up subjects that's gonna get like Brian back in the doghouse. But going back, I have to side with Harold on that Arizona side with the females and everything. Oh, second thing to note, like, and I posted it on Facebook just to make it clear to everybody, like, I'm oblivious. I'm still oblivious to this day. So I was oblivious way back when too. So when girls were flirting with me or, showing interest, I had no fucking clue. I just thought, hey, I'm just naturally funny and girls think I'm funny like these dudes think I'm funny or whatever, right? Like I didn't know they're like intentionally laughing at my jokes or whatever because like they like me or something. No, I still don't recognize that when that happens or right. So I can't really relate specifically to like, oh, this girl's like definitely into me. Is it because I'm funny? Is it because I'm black? So on and so forth. But there was a certain growing up in Arizona and having like, the majority of your classroom or your year of class having like, just a handful of black people, everybody else white or Hispanic or something, right? And so it's kind of like you're a novelty. Like there's only so many of them. Got to catch them all, like Pokemon or whatever, or like got to experience the forbidden fruit, and like yes, there were like parents that didn't approve, so they wanted to be rebellious, or it was oh yeah, hip hop's coming in the '90s and everything. I want to be down with the culture. Oh, like I'll be cool. Like it's almost like you're a status. I legit believe, going in junior high, one of the main reasons I was quote unquote popular or I associate with the popular kids was because I was essentially the token black kid. So it's like, oh, like, well, Brian knows how to do this. Brian knows how to do. Brian probably knows how to rap. Brian knows how to dance. Brian's good at basketball, which some of those I may have been just because I naturally was good. Not to gas myself up again, but I know that a large portion of the reason why I was quote unquote popular, I keep saying quote unquote because at the same time, I was a nerd. I was in like all the smart classes and all that. Like I didn't cuss. I didn't do. I was like a goody two shoes to an extent. Like got good grades, didn't get in trouble at school. So, like there's nothing about my character outside of being funny at times, I guess, that led to me being popular. But because I was black in a school full of all these white kids and some Hispanic kids that wanted to, be into what's hip now, which is hip hop. Yeah, like for that purpose alone, that added like cool points to me. And obviously, as a female, you want to be cool or you want to be associated with cool. That's why, like, popular actors
Obviously.
and, powerful politicians and stuff like that get women because they want to be associated with power or coolness and so on and so forth. And so, therefore, yes, some girls did gravitate to black guys because that was the cool thing. Keyword there is some. So I definitely understand what you're saying, Don, where it's not like that's the main thing for all, not all girls, but I mean, pretty much every year of my life, I knew there was a girl like, oh yeah, she only dates black guys. And it's not like, oh yeah, she only dates black guys because she's just lonely attracted to that and that alone. That's like her little fix or whatever, like everybody has her little like, I like this or I like that, whatever the case may be. And as whack as it is somewhat, like that was one of the things. It's like, oh, you're black. All right, I'm in. That's yeah, we're good, or whatever. The reason they
You
said
know,
once you go black, you never go back. So
Yeah,
what's
I'm on the
crazy?
opposite. I'm on the opposite side of that, but I'll let y'all rock.
So here's one of the things that was so me and wifey talked about for a minute, and it was crazy because it was in watching rom-coms, and it was like the realization of like when did you realize that tall, dark, and handsome did not mean a black dude?
Right, they met a Brad Pitt or whatever.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
because we growing up we're like, oh, tall, dark, and handsome. Like I'm tall, I'm dark, I'm handsome, and it's like
Yeah.
no, not dark like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Features, dark hair
yeah,
and mustache, dark like you're like, wait, what? Like so that like
It's
perplexed me for the longest. But
initially from the
same
beginning,
here.
and the only reason I say from the beginning is because when they had that description, it wasn't a black guy they had on like the romance cover of the novel or in the movie. It's like a dude that's like tall, and by dark, it was like quote unquote he has a tan to him, or he's just not pale, basically. And then handsome, usually he had like a little bit of stubble and like nice white wavy hair or whatever, like white guy hair, meaning like, either dark brown or something of that nature. Like the only thing that threw me off about tall, dark, and handsome is like, oh, I thought like it's all about people that are hot, blonde, blue-eyed motherfuckers, right? So it's strange, but all right, whatever. But yeah, I never thought it was like associated with black, unfortunately, but you know.
Yeah, say
interesting.
like always the same, not the same as him, but I was like, I always thought it was gonna be like black people and stuff for the longest. I was like, oh shoot, I'm two out of those strings. I'm not tall, but I'm dark and handsome kind of. Like what the hell? I was like, then I was kind of at the same aspect when Brian was saying like he kept seeing the picture. I was like, this is not dark, but I don't know. Like, is like, but is this like you like darker than that? If you like darker than that, then hell yeah, I'm your dude. But then I realized I'm like, okay, it took. I was probably in my 20s and stuff when I realized that it wasn't real. I was like, they didn't mean black people. But yeah, I was like, really? I was like, okay, I guess, I guess that's not it. But that's okay. The same, they have phrases like that, dude. They even have phrases. It's just the whole. Don't go into it too deep. They use different phrases for the racist aspect just because they don't like the word black or whatever. They change the phrase like brunette hair when that can be associated with black hair for white women. They say no, it's not black, it's brunette because I don't want to be associated with black because black is wrong, black is this and that. So it's that whole aspect too. They don't want to say I want a tan guy. I don't want a black guy. They say I want a dark skinned, olive complected dude. But they don't want to say olive because that's associated with Italian Americans. So it's it's weird. People are funny. I'll just say that.
What are you done?
What about?
You plead the fifth?
Yeah, I told you this combo. I'm on the opposite, but it's cool.
You always knew about the tall, dark, and handsome? You knew they weren't talking
Oh,
about you
for
specifically?
I mean, not necessarily. No. I always attributed growing up, like when I heard tall, dark, and handsome, I thought like Denzel, or because I know Denzel was like early '90s. He was him in every genre, even though he wasn't on like the front of the rom coms. Like every woman in Hollywood or just in general was always screaming Denzel. So when I was a kid, I heard tall, dark, and handsome. I thought like two or three names, and it was always Denzel or someone like that was an athlete. So I didn't have that realization what you guys are saying until older, of course. And I wasn't really into rom coms like that, so I didn't like
Yeah.
uh,
But you knew
rom
all the
coms.
names, the Boris Kojos, the Blair Underwoods, all the.
Well, yeah, of course, but I mean that's because that's how where I was raised, and I guess what I was around. So like the Shamar Moores and all those, like that was considered tall, dark, and handsome, at least in my circle. You know what I'm saying? So uh, that's what I always attributed to.
Yep.
Yeah, same. Yeah, it's true. But like I said, then I forgot what comedian said it, but yeah, he was like, "Dang, I grew up," and then I realized it was either they said like, Ben Affleck or Tom Cruise or whatever it was actually the tall, dark, and handsome they were talking about. But I was like, "Oh, okay."
See, which is why again, and I'm gonna go back to it. Which is why again, like I had a slight issue with the novelty thing because I think about it now. I remember growing up seeing like all these big figures in the limelight, and they were like they were wanted by everybody, by every race. White women were
Hmm.
talking about Tyson Beckford early. He was like an actual model. You know what I'm saying? They were talking about Denzel. They were talking about Michael Jordan. They were talking about all these like what's it called? King Griffey Jr. Like I remember all this. You know what I'm saying? So like it
All right.
wasn't it wasn't because it's cool to like black. Like they was black, they was popping, and they loved him. I don't know. That's why
So
for me it wasn't like
that's a
a
different
you.
story though, because that's equating like celebrity status. That's what they want because like people think freaking Lil Wayne is freaking
No,
beautiful. No, because like no, that's equating like popularity and all the and the views and stuff and like attention. Like you're naming like famous people. They only like you because you're famous. They don't like you because
that's not true.
100%. Like some
These
of
are
them are
good. Okay, look, pause.
some of
These
them
are
are really
good looking
attractive dudes, of
gentlemen.
course. But again,
People Denzel,
that's the whole.
they didn't like Denzel just because he was famous. They didn't like Tyson Beckford just because he was famous. They didn't like Usher just because he was famous. Like these
They
are
would
good
not know
looking,
him if
talented.
that. It's like the whole. It's that a whole
If he
meme
was
that
watching,
like. No, it's that
go
whole
ahead.
meme that like a Jay Z would date a Beyonce if she worked at Burger King, but a Beyonce would not date a Jay Z if he worked at Burger King. It's that whole aspect.
But
Everybody
Jay-Z's not a
knows
good
him,
looking dude.
but everybody freaking wants him and be with him. Everybody will say he's
No, they
attractive.
don't.
Yeah,
Women to
100%.
the no,
How many
women talk
kids does
about
Lil
how
Wayne have with beautiful women?
Wayne's got game.
Is that dude any slightly attractive?
No, not really. But
No, not
but
necessarily,
people
but
have had posters of them on the wall.
Yo.
I don't know what. The interesting thing would be to see what are the modern day posters. Like, is there a little Yachty on somebody's wall somewhere?
I'm sure there is.
Exactly.
Well, number one, these are like young dudes to me, like kids, so I don't even judge them anyways. But my point is like, I'm not going to sit there and say like, oh, women just liked him because he's popular. We're not doing that. I'm not doing, because a lot of these people were like, they were popping before they were popular. Like Tyrese was found on the back of a bus. That's a good looking dude on the back of a bus, and women were into him. He wasn't popular. He wasn't, oh, it's
Because
because
he
he's
can
an actor.
sing.
Okay, my
So
point exactly. What are
so
you talking
so
about? He wasn't popular.
He can,
so
he can
let's give you
sing.
that.
That's the
Let's
only
give you
reason
that,
people
Don.
know him.
Let's
That's
give
the
you
only
that.
reason.
That
No, that's the only. So the only reason why women liked him is because he could sing.
That's the
no
only
no no no
reason
no
they know him. I said, like, if he could,
no. He
there's
was
a million people that can sing that
he
people
was a
that are
model
not
before he
attracted to
sung.
them.
So I got to side with Don there. He was a model first with Tommy Hilfiger and all that stuff. Like
Exactly, and
before.
he was
So
But he
found on
was
an actual
popular.
bus, bro.
women liked him back then. I will give him that. Like, so I'm fully with Don on that sense. However, when he's talking about like, oh, women liked uh Tyrese, women liked Denzel, women liked for every one of those black dudes you listed, there's probably like 5 to 10 white dudes that were like, all right, they love them more, you know? Yeah, there's a couple women that knew like
Well, yeah, white's the
Tyrese or
majority
whatever, but
in
how many
the.
of them knew like Bobby or whatever? There's a couple girls that liked Denzel, but how many liked Brad Pitt? How many liked
JT.
Sean
You're
Penn
naming
or
all
whatever? You know what I
famous
mean? So
people.
Yeah, because
I'm not
they're
saying they
mainstream.
don't like him only purely because they are athletes or whatever. Obviously, they have to be somewhat attractive to that. But you're naming famous people. Like if they were just attractive and nobody knew their name, if they weren't on magazines, if they didn't model shoot, if they didn't make a song, if there are people on the streets, the same person wouldn't think, oh, that person's beautiful because they wouldn't have a chance to know them because the only reason that they know them is because they're on TV.
But
That's what
dog,
I'm
they had
saying.
to get discovered to get to TV. Everything you guys are saying is almost a contradiction. You're talking about, yes, like you just said, for every one black dude, there's 10 white dudes, right? So the white dudes were already taking over everything. So why would they even allow us in unless you had to look good enough to be discovered? You feel me? So it wasn't, hold on, it wasn't based on their talent. It was based on clearly they looked good enough to be accepted
Marketability.
yes, into everything. So white women were like, damn, he looks so good. I want to go watch that movie. Damn, he looks so good. I want to go buy that album. It's not because he was popular. They weren't popular before they were found. You were literally talking a contradiction when you're talking about Brad Pitt, Fabio, and all of them were popping at the time. They
But I
wouldn't
didn't
let
say
us in
Brad Pitt. I didn't say
anyway.
no, no, that was
so
Don. I mean
so
Brad.
yeah,
You
yeah.
literally just said Brad Pitt.
But
Yeah, no. I said Brad Pitt, but no, what
I know. I'm not
I'm
talking to
trying to
Quincy. I'm talking about all y'all because all you guys
yeah,
are agree on the same thing.
no.
all
We
right.
have two different arguments. I'm going back to your original argument, talking about like, oh yeah, like I don't think they just liked us because we were black and black was popular and thing. And I'm like, no, like you point out, like, oh yeah, back then they were into Boris Cujo, they were into Morris Chestnut. And it's like, yeah, they were into those guys, but for all those guys they were into, they're into a whole bunch of other white guys as well. So it does go back to what we're saying, where it's like, all right, yeah,
No, it
they
doesn't.
they got into black guys and they started liking black guys because it became popular to be black. So much so that you could have ugly motherfuckers be popular.
So
Big
okay,
Papa,
this is
Biggie Smalls. What was Biggie Smalls? Big body, small, but yet he
Black and
was
ugly as ever.
popular, right?
However, I stayed
I
Gucci
mean,
down.
So I
Exactly.
mean,
He
it's
has
like, all right.
swag.
So
What are we
once
talking
you're ugly like Jay-Z, but you could get women, okay, yeah, it's popularity at that point, and that's why girls again gravitate to like, oh, I want to be in this black culture. It's cool to be popular. Da,
See,
da, da,
but
da.
the
That's
only
what
thing
we're
I'm having
saying.
the thing I'm having an issue with is you keep saying black was popular, but yet we only had one person. You keep saying for every one person there's 10 whites, so that means black was not popular. Black wasn't
It
popular.
got
But no, listen, how is black popular if we only have one actor out of the 10 actors you keep naming? Or how is black popular if we only have one singer out of the 10 singers? Explain to me how being with black is popular if everything is white. Just explain that. That's a
because
contradiction in what you're saying.
it didn't start like that because one, like you mentioned, there's just one black. There's one black star that everybody knew, which is Denzel. So yes, if they're gonna get with anybody, it's gonna be a black Denzel. But then after Denzel came about, then you had like you mentioned Morris Chestnut or Tyrese or whoever else. Like black became popular. That's what I'm trying to explain. Is that it's not like and then so we're going back to the '90s because that's what
Well,
Harold was
people knew
talking
of
about, and I
Samuel L.
agree with.
Jackson.
Where it's like,
They knew of different people. Bill Cosby. They didn't find them sexy though.
well, no, 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 no,
Yeah,
no.
and
So
that
for
and he wasn't considered popular. He was just they were good actors, but they weren't like
okay.
popular.
Let me put this. Let me look at it this way. Okay, so '90s time, right?
Well, all the way
Probably
back.
mid '90s or whatever, right? Think about sitcoms and whatnot, right? TV shows. How many TV shows did they have out there that happen to have like all these white people? Uh, Saved by the Bell, Growing Pains, whatever, blah blah blah, right? They only had maybe one or two black shows, but were those shows, let's say again, Saved by the Bell, I guess that was popular, or whatever, but like On the Family or Home Improvement or whatever else, how popular were those shows in comparison to Fresh Prince of Bel-Air or in comparison to Family Matters? And so, yes, even though they still only had one actor, one Denzel, or they only had one TV show with black people or whatever, it was a show that was popular or more popular than those other white shows. And so that's where black became or at least to my thought process, was more popular, where it's like, oh, hey, we want to watch the black one, see what the black person's doing. Or, okay, yeah, you have all these different artists and musicians and stuff like that. You had NSYNC, you had Backstreet Boys, blah, blah, blah. But then you still had Jay-Z, which, again, not a good looking dude, but everybody had to get like the Hard Knock Life, or Streets is Watching. And then, everybody had to gravitate to that one lone black guy because the hip hop music was popular and superseding some of these other genres
It
of music.
wasn't. Will Smith was palatable to them. That's why he got the TV show. Also, the reason why he got the first rap hip hop Grammy because he was palatable. The Family Matters was popping because Steve Urkel was palatable. Like black wasn't popular then. Like even like as you're saying these examples, it's still not helping your case. Like you still keep naming 95 white shows to our one black show, bro. That doesn't mean black is popular. It doesn't. Like
It's
you keep
but
saying, "Oh,
it's more
that made hip hop
people
popular," but it
gravitated to it
didn't.
more. You had all these other options, but people went to this option. So
For
again,
30 minutes. For 30
take that
minutes on
scenario
a
and put it
Friday.
into a school. Take that
But for
scenario and
no.
put it into a school. So I'm at school. There's all these other white boys. Like we do the same thing. We all play basketball. We're all in the same class. We do this. But yet the girls are gonna gravitate to me because hey, there's only this one black dude or whatever, and he's black, and it's cool to be black or whatever. So at least that's what I think Harold's mentioning, and that's what I'm mentioning is like, hey, yeah, part of the reason why women got to us or girls were like interested was because black was the thing to be at that time. Not in all instances, but in the one that we're trying to explain or articulate.
Well, I didn't know I would set off this firestorm, but I think that was pretty productive.
Yeah, it was. I just yeah. No, I feel what you were saying. I just didn't agree with it. But to each
All
his own.
good. All
Yeah,
right.
next topic. It's all good.
I had a couple other ones, but I want to see if Don, you had anything, Brian, you had anything, Quincy.
No, let me rock.
I had a couple
Let's see what you
things,
got.
but
One thing I will say real quick. So, last year where we always do our album of the year and all that, I have to retract mine. I did say the Lazarus soundtrack. I forget the dude's name or whatever now. But anyways, I had that as my album of the year, and I slept on and I forgot all about this dude, Akeem Ali. Akeem Ali as Kimi Casanova, he had two different quote unquote mixtapes, the texture mixtape and the texture mixtape 2. I remember I sent something out to you guys about like I had heard a couple of songs in the past, but I didn't um vibe with it, or I didn't like, put forth effort into listening to it or whatever. This dude, like these two albums, both that came out last year, 2025, like I have to put those two together, and that would be my album of the year because I've listened to his stuff. All these as we're in our text messages, and it's like, hey, uh, yeah, have you guys checked out this new project? That new project? I haven't heard any new because I've been listening to these two, the Texture Mixtape and the Texture Mixtape 2, or the Texture
Mm.
Tape, whatever. I've been listening to those two like nonstop, back to back this entire year, basically. Like I'll step away from it and like listen to some new album, like once, and I'm like, all right, cool, but I keep on going back to it. So I know it's like a whole year later, but
That's
I do
good.
have to, or not a year later, but a couple months later, I got to go back and be like, yeah, nah, like album of the year back last year, like Keem Ali.
I mean, I think it's going to be hard. I don't know. Maybe it's always the beginning of the year is kind of like a lull. But I feel like the hip hop has been kind of just out of it, I guess, right now. It seems like it's just been an R&B takeover because the amount of R&B that's come out. I mean, if you're not a fan, then you might not think anything new's been out, but I feel like that's what's being fed to the masses. Maybe it's because it's the beginning of the year, more positive and uplifting. Maybe it's because, it's around Valentine's Day and people are, shacking up and getting cozy in the winter time and all that stuff. I don't know.
Stuffing
But
season.
from the Jill Scott, which is still amazing. I mean, Don mentioning Sasha Keeble, that is a nice project. And I guess her act two was a build off of an EP. So it's a lot of the
Hmm.
same songs, but it's just, again, one full project, which is really dope. I really like that one. The Salt album, chapter one, that one is dope. Ari Lennox came out with something that was nice. Tiana Major 9 was nice. Moonchild just came out with something. Nyjah, who used to be Queen Nyjah, whatever, like, had something. Like, it's just artist after artist after artist is just coming out with things left and right. And that's all in just the last 2 months. So,
Hmm.
like,
That leads me to a question then, which probably would work for all you guys, is and especially with the R&B realm. Like, do you feel like there's consistency with R&B artists, or it's kind of like I don't want to say one hit wonders, but like, all right, they're popping for a bit, then they fall off, versus like staying consistent, like and I'm in the outside looking in on this, but like when we had your Tony Braxtons, you had your Whitney Houstons, you had your In Vogue or whatever, where like they were putting out multiple albums and consistently on top. Do you feel like that's the same now, or it's this person will have a great project and then we kind of never hear from them again, or they're still doing their thing, they're just not to that level since there's so
oh,
much more
I
available
think
now?
Don will probably know better than me. My quick comment is I feel like they come out with less frequent releases. So you may only hear from Ari Lennox every 3 years, something like that. But I feel like they also change up their sound more often. So like it
Mm,
doesn't sound like when you know Tony Braxton or an Anita Baker, you're expecting a certain drum set, a certain producer, whereas it feels like they're constantly recreating a new sound. Even Jill Scott's new sound sounds way different than the neo soul from the 90s and 2000s. So anyways,
okay.
Don.
I think for me, R&B is, I think, is probably one of the more consistent genres, and is always consistent, but it's always overshadowed by hip hop and rap. So I
Okay.
think there's a lot more artists that put out good quality music, whether it be EPs or albums or just like singles left and right. The bigger artists, of course, like he mentioned, like Jill Scott, they don't release as frequently. But you have like smaller artists like Alex Isley, who she just put out a single called "Sweet Lullaby" that's amazing. She puts out a song like every couple of months, or Ari puts out a stuff a lot. Kevin Ross, who I love, puts out stuff all the time. I mean, Leon Thomas, if he's not putting out little EPs, he's on features left and right. So there is like this community of super fire R&B artists that are always putting out music, but it's always overshadowed by the bigger hip hop artists. And I think as of recent, all the big dogs, number one, aren't putting out music as frequently, or number two, like they all put it out at the same time and then they all go out into the sunset. Like last year was probably one of the best years we've had in hip hop in a long time. The Clips album, the Kendrick album, the Jid album, all the ones that we named. Like it hasn't been that heavy hitting of music in a long time in terms of hip hop. But now, like even now that's going to start dying down. Like, Drake hasn't put anything out in a long time. We don't know where we're going to get a Kendrick album. We did just get Cole, but I mean, in my opinion, it's just cool. You know what I mean? Like, it was a double album and it's just cool. All your other, Hove doesn't put anything out in a long time. Nas put out that entirely boring ass joint. You know what I'm saying? So like the heavy hitter hip hop artists aren't really as consistent. So that's why R&B is having like this whole new wave. And on top of that, a lot of the R&B now is merging some hip hop as well. So it's like I can get both off of this album. I can go to Leon Thomas and know I'm gonna get a little hip hop with my R&B. Same with Ari. Same with Jill Scott's actually rapping, and it's fire. You know what I'm saying? So to answer your question, I think it's always been consistent, but for me, hip hop kind of overshadowed it. But now it's starting to kind of take its next step, and now it's just starting to take over the game. I mean, you got Kehlani coming over and taking over everything, and all these artists more and more or less. I don't know. It's being accepted a lot more, which I dig.
Question to you, Don. Then, so do you think the invention of melodic rap, all these like subgenres of the genre, right? Do you think that that's tainted or messed up the direction R&B's in, or do you think they're now leaning more into like the ballads and the kind of Love Jones style stuff that they had from yesteryear?
I think melodic rap's always been around. So I mean, you would have to tell me like who you would consider a melodic rapper, because like I automatically, when I think melodic rap, I think Bone Thugs and Harmony. I think Nelly. I think that when that was popping, I think Ja Rule, that started off as a hard rocker, but then like melodically rapped, and that was his biggest hit. So like to me, melodic rap's always been around, and R&B and hip hop has kind of always gone hand in hand. I just think now more R&B artists, and I think I would give a lot of that to Chris Brown, a lot of praise. Him being able to mesh everything together and make it acceptable and make it dope, and he does it right. Where he'll rap, he'll sing. Tory Lanez, same thing. Tory Lanez, spits heavy bars, but then turn around and give you a phenomenal R&B project at the same time. So I think it's always been in the same umbrella. It's just now they're being more creative with it. You know what I'm saying? There's more creative ways to merge the R&B and the hip hop and just make it super dope for everybody.
And I think that's what I'm going to try to do. Like for this year, is just I'm going to try to just have a conversation about the music and just if it comes up naturally of like these are the things that I didn't like this project as much as the last one, or they're starting to be one of my favorites, that type of thing. But just having a conversation about what it is, what the vibe was like, how I enjoyed it, how I didn't like it. Like I'm gonna try to keep it like that for this year, because I feel like I don't know, always putting black people against other black people when it's all great in the grand scheme of things. It's just my preference for the day, how I felt that day. It just feels, I don't know, a little unfair. I mean,
So how are
I
you? How are
even
you
like I
rating it?
know I
How are
know
you rating
Erica
it in
Badu is gonna
Firebrand?
come out with an album with Alchemist,
Mm-hmm.
and like I'm looking forward to it, but I don't necessarily want to hear Erica Badu over drums and instrumentals and like rap. I don't want to like I actually, unpopular opinion, didn't like Jill Scott rapping. Like I liked her other stuff. Like um so I don't know. I'd rather it just be if it's an R&B album or if it's a person that does that and they lean into that they do best, rather than having to have Usher or Beyonce do rap because they've done that in some of their songs and it's like, oh, what are you doing?
That's
So I don't
fair.
know.
Now,
That's
if
yeah.
the execution is bad, but see, even that, I'm okay with that. If the execution is bad, I'm okay with saying the execution is bad, right? Now, I'm with you in regards to Jill Scott rapping to a degree. I enjoyed it. Do I want more of it? No, but I don't mind like an R&B artist wanting to like branch off and do a little something different, give us a quick verse, and then go back to her singing. Like I'm okay with it. That's why again I enjoy someone like Tory Lanez, who I think can do both well, right? I enjoy when he raps, and I turn around and enjoy like when he gives us "Alone at Prom," which phenomenal album. I enjoy for the most part when Chris will spit a bar or two and then turn around and get to singing. If it's done well, great. I completely agree with the Erica Badu Alchemist because I didn't like the single they put out. I wasn't a fan of it. I know people loved it. I didn't personally didn't like it. So I'm not looking forward to that album. I'll listen to it because I love Alchemist. He for me continuously keeps ranking up as one of my favorite producers ever. And Erica Badu is Erica, so But if it doesn't mesh well, I'm definitely gonna not be subjective and tell him. You know what I mean? But um, yeah, no, I kind of agree with you in that regard.
Like Masego is amazing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everything he puts out seems to be like just where did he come from? The second coming of Marvin Gaye, or like just
Yeah.
smooth voice, perfect beat selection,
Mm-hmm.
all that stuff. But then it's like if he starts rapping, it's like why? You don't need to be Jadena. You don't need to like I don't know. There's just so many things in which you could
But
just
but
mess
if
up a
it's
vibe.
but if it's
And
done tastefully and it's done for the specific song or whatever, like you said, the vibe. What if his vibe is, hey, listen, we had the hi hat going and I just bobbing my head and I'm like, I just wanted to get my point across. So instead of me singing
I
it,
think in a
I,
jam session, it comes across dope and authentic. I think the
mhm.
other stuff, if it's an album recorded, an EP, whatever, it's just not for me. I don't know. So
Well, yeah,
that's
if it doesn't feel authentic, again, I'm all for it. But if authentically, I wanted to voice it this way, I'm here for it. Now,
If it's
again,
like a song out of a whole album or a couple songs, yeah, cool. But making a whole album out of it would be annoying. But as you guys make this discussion, the key thing I keep on thinking of is Beyonce and Cowboy Carter. Like I haven't even listened to it because I don't like country music. It's cool for her to have her country songs, and I did enjoy the songs that like the Texas Hold'em or whatever. But it's like I don't need you to get into that bag. Like if you want, by all means, do it if you want to. But like just because if I'm a Beyonce fan, I'm not gonna I have to go listen to it when I know I don't like that genre of music. So
you know
when
what's
you have
funny?
like certain artists where it's like again Jill Scott, my thought of Jill Scott is like again the neo soul and things of that nature. You're gonna tell me she's gonna be rapping and everything? Like, yeah, she has like one song where she raps like, 16 bars. Cool. But a whole album, I want to look forward to that, I guess.
Yeah. Side note, that Cowboy Carter album really isn't a country album if you listen to it. I actually like that album a lot. There's a couple joints in there I still go back to, but I feel you on that. Yeah, no, of course, if someone who's an actual R&B artist does a whole album rapping, like I absolutely hated the Jay-Z Beyonce duet where she was
Mm,
rapping. I hated that album. I say that to this day. I can't stand that album. I forgot what it was called because I
the
hated it.
Carters or whatever. Yeah, I
Yeah,
didn't listen to that.
Meet the Carters or something like that. Or I hated that project. One of the worst projects both of them have ever put out for sure. So yeah, for that I agree. But a song or two, yeah, I'm not mad. Because even on Cowboy Carter, she's got a song where she's rapping, and I think it's called Spaghetti or something like that. Song's tight. I like it. Um, but yeah, I'm here for it. I'm down for different variables of an artist if they're dope.
so I know you probably didn't hear it, Brian, but last night La Russell dropped a new album, and
Yeah, I
it's
haven't yet.
it's him and Lil Jon, and it's super like hyphy West Coast. It sounds
Yeah.
ridiculous. I was like,
They
where did this come from? Like, so,
I'm surprised. I
Really?
know they have like they had a track like we run in there or something like that or whatever, like where I saw a music video with him and Lil Jon. They're like on a football field and whatnot. I didn't know they did an album together though, so that's pretty cool. I'll have to definitely check it out.
it's called Something Is in the Water. It's like, I don't
Okay.
know, 12 songs, something like that. There's like 3 or 4 skits though, so it's a
You
quick
like it
listen.
though? You said it was dope?
I liked it. It
Okay.
felt very like E40's little brother or something like that on it. Like just
Ah, okay. Eee. That's dope.
Hmm.
I'll
Let's
have to
go.
check that out.
and I will
Don't,
say, Don, I was skeptical, but the Baby King grew on me. And I think
bro.
and I think the problem was it doesn't start good for me.
Really?
I don't like the first 2 or 3, and then it finally gets rolling. But like track 3 or track 4. But I was not feeling it. I was like, yeah, see, I'm just not a fan. But then he like switched it up and sounded different. Um, and was more like Baz or more like, some of the other maybe melodic rap. And it
Yeah.
surprised me. So I've listened to that a few times now and been like, okay, I was hating on it, but it's not bad.
That's funny because I enjoyed the beginning of it more than towards the end. I think the first 7 songs to me, 6, 7 songs, I was like, yo, he's because I like that type of up tempo, and I know a lot of people don't necessarily like the tone of his voice. When he so a lot of them don't like that. I dig that because that's his style and he makes it work. Um, Plus, when I don't know, it gets me hype. I love that joint Casino. The song with Kendrick, obviously, it's a
He's
good
got
album.
3 of them.
Yeah, I know he does. No, it's a solid project. I like Baby Keem. I was actually disappointed. I didn't know he was just out here at Zia Records last week. Um, and had I known, I'd have went because I'd have bought the vinyl. And if you bought the vinyl, he was signing it. So I was a little disappointed. I found out late. Plus, Makai likes him. Makai likes some of Baby Keem's music, so I would have took him out there to meet him. But no, man, I
Wow.
mean, it's like 35 minutes, so it's a cool little listen. I like it. I wasn't
Speaking
mad at it.
of being in town or whatever, did y'all see that J. Cole, he is like riding around doing his son out the back his and he was in Phoenix or whatever, and his car broke down or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like I was like, oh
His
dang, that would have
Honda.
been cool just to meet him, dap him up and whatnot. But
Yeah.
that album still not album of the year by any means. I love Quick Stop. Definitely love that. A couple other songs are cool, and then the rest of the songs just like like nah. So it's hard for me to do it, recognize that wherever. But a question I had is that his supposed to be his like last album? Is that the case?
That's what he
Supposedly, yeah.
said.
Like he had been working.
Okay.
Obviously, like you've got the track one or the disc one is when he's 29, and the disc two when he's 39. So it's like the hungry J. Cole, and then like the where he's at now, J. Cole, and kind of like, okay, I'm kind of done. And you can hear it in some of the songs where he sounds like he's pretty much done. So
Yeah.
supposedly, we'll see. It's a
Okay.
like you can't call it a bad album. It is a good album. He's rapping his ass off, so
Oh yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
good. And there's some of the beats on there are cool. Like so, it's a good album. I can't say it's bad. It's just it's tough to go back to. Like I definitely have my a few standout joints that I like a lot. Um, but I've always been that way with Cole, so that's why I don't really review it too often because aside from Forest Hills, there's not really much that he's put out that made me like run back to it.
Now, I always go back to this, but do you feel like it's time and place? Like you're just not in a cold mood, and maybe you'd be more in a cold mood during the summer or during the
Yeah.
No,
spring, or
man,
what?
because I don't know when I would be in a cold mood. I tried listening to it early in the morning because that's usually like I get my first like listening to everything when I start my shift at UPS because I'm there at 3 in the morning, right? So that's when I'll go see what new came out. Cool, oh cold bet. So I'll listen to it home at work. I'm like, all right, either I'm feeling it or not, and then I'll listen to it during the day. Try to listen to it in the evening while I'm outside on the porch, just chilling on the patio. So it's something about a full length project of Cole I can never get with. Now, singles here and there, like I still go back to Clouds at least once a week. I love Clouds. I can listen to Clouds all the time. There's certain singles of his that I think he absolutely bodied. Features, undeniable. No one can touch him on a feature. I think his feature run beats a lot of people's feature runs. But when it comes to putting a full length Cole album, aside from like Forest Hills, like I said, or like his Friday Night Light mixtapes, like eh, eh, it's tough for me.
Um, so a quick warning about those that are potentially interested in getting into vinyl.
Okay.
Man, they assume that everybody that's into vinyl is like a collector
Oh, I
because
know.
the nature of it being physical and the nature of it being limited, that they only
Hmm.
press 1,000 at a time. So that means if you got a million fans, there's only 1,000 that are gonna be able to get the vinyl. So you gotta hope everybody's just like, oh, streaming, or oh, I only have a CD player. But
Hmm.
man, they range from 25, the cheap on sale, 35 brand new the first day it comes out. So like the new Jill Scott's gonna be like 35 bucks. But if
Hmm.
it's direct to consumer from like Chance, like I wanted to look at Chance's latest album, it's like 50 bucks, 55 bucks, and that's considered cheap. If
Yep.
it's limited, like Brian, I looked for the Dom Kennedy. That Yellow album is 800 to $1,000. Like I wanted to get the Little Brother album, Minstrel Show that just came out. That's $200 plus. Like if you
Yep.
want the Weekend, his trilogy, that's $10,000 to $12,000 for a
Well,
vinyl. And I'm
you gotta
like,
think about it. It
I'm
is more of a
allergic.
it's more of a collector's item than it
I
is like
know. I just want to hear the
a
music.
tool to play music, though. And that's the thing. It's like, yeah, you want to play the music, cool, go buy the CD or buy the stream, like you mentioned. But having that tangible is where you can show it off as a collection. So I understand why it is what it is. It is unfortunate. I didn't know they didn't press that many copies. That kind of sucks, but understandable why the price is the price. Demand.
Yeah, I actually agree with Brian. It's that is kind of what it is. Like you at this point you're buying the vinyl because back in the day, like you could only you if you want to listen to music, you had to buy the vinyl. That was it. But now because we have 90 other ways to get our music, like you're only buying the vinyl specifically for collectors. Like the average everyday consumer isn't going out and they want to go get the new Taylor Swift on vinyl. They know that they could just listen to it in their phone. So he's actually right. Like it is a collector's thing, and the artists know that. That's why they get with other artists and create like really really nice pieces of art on the front of the cover. You know what I'm saying? That's why I got the ASAP Rocky joint because he got with Tim Burton, or why Clips got with Cause to do their album, or you know what I'm saying? So it is more of like an artistic piece than just let me run up to Target and grab the latest album. So I get it. It sucks, but I get it. And me being a collector of things, like it makes sense to me. And I'm addicted. You know what I'm saying? What can I say? They got me.
So basically, Harold, like you're just gonna have to limit your collection to what's actually desired. Like, I definitely want this. Let me fork over that money. I
Yeah,
don't want this as much. Let me save that money, you know?
Exactly. Yeah.
they know what they're doing. And I mean, I'm here. So let's do it. What you want me to do?
Yeah. Truth.
Anyways.
That's the market for the last few years. Like you were saying, like it's a collector's market. Just like certain things, like I'm gonna buy this just to show it, not just to listen. It's a lot of people don't buy it for the appreciation of the art anymore. They just buy it to flex. Unfortunately, unfortunately, you're in that side of things where you wanted to consume it, to actually enjoy it. So, because most of the people that are buying it are not even opening it, they're just they have it on their shelf. They have it to just say, "Hey, I got this," but I never even opened it. I never even listened to it. It's like any collection, unfortunately. Like, hey, I bought this doll, I bought this bottle, I bought this, Lego set. I'm not even gonna open it, but I'm gonna do it. I bought these Pokemon cards, and I bought this. Like I don't even want to play. Back in the day, like people play with these cards. People play with them and destroyed them. Same with shoes. Like, hey, I bought these shoes. I never even wore them, but I got them.
Mhm.
Interesting. So
Unfortunately,
quick question.
You
Quick
touching
question
a
on
nerve. No.
no, I just
Their
no, I
shoes.
just quick question on what he said. Not even the shoes. It was just everything else he said. He said you buying stuff but not opening it is considered a flex, but you can't just appreciate the art of it. Like for
honestly,
prime example, like if you buy like yeah, you're right. I'm not gonna open up the ASAP Rocky Don't Be Done album because I love the art of it, right? And I could just listen to the actual song if I really want to. I could just listen to the album on my phone. I'm not, or well, actually, side note, Mildred bought it for me. I didn't buy it, but she knows I wanted it. But I'm not going to open it not because it's a flex. It's because I like to display things as because I like to appreciate it, right? Same with I buy Funko Pops like Michael Jordan Funko Pops. Like I didn't buy it because I'm trying to flex. I bought it because I'm a huge Michael Jordan fan and I want to appreciate and just walk in my office and see that I've got like a shrine to MJ. Like I don't necessarily think collecting is flexing, right? Like you're using
not every single
Pokemon as an
person,
example. You're
but
using Pokemon as an example in shoes and stuff. Shoes to a degree, cool. Like I'll rock with that because I like people. I like to break people's necks and I'll put shoes on my feet. Cool. But like vinyl or sports cards, like people don't buy sports cards to flex. They do not. Like they love Tom Brady. They want to
Currency.
personally collect Tom Brady, right? The kid loves Charizard, so he's gonna buy Charizards for the Pokemon. It's not necessarily a flex. It is more so like
so
they're enjoying and appreciating the art.
so I would say counter with this, like I'm not saying it's a flex for every single person, but it is a flex. Just like you just said, your passion for shoes, you can see it for there. The same person has the same passion for the Pokemon as you have for shoes. So for them, it is a flex. Like I said, it's not every single person, but people are buying stuff just to show it off, just to show it on social media. Some people like yourself, you buy it just for yourself, just to put it on your wall, just for memorabilia because you love it. But there are other people out there that are doing it just for the attention, just for to show it off, just to showcase, just to say, hey, when you come into my house, hey, I got this. You can invite it, but I bought it. Some people do that. 100%.
In the shoe world, we'd often call those hype beasts. You know, what I mean, it's like, yeah, you're not even into shoes or showing that appreciation for them. You just want people to see what you got, and that part, like, yeah, I understand what you're saying, there, Quincy, but also on Don's side, yeah, as he was mentioning, like his Funko Pop, I'm like, yeah, like there's certain things now. I'm a creature. I have to open things and check them out, or whatever. But like, yeah, there are certain things that like I have, and I'll just have it just for the display aspect of it, versus like actually opening it, playing with it, or doing whatever the intention was for that product. Just because it is something you appreciate, so it's not so much I'm trying to
Mhm.
flex on anybody. It's that's something I enjoy, so let me hold it down.
Yeah,
But
I
yeah, we
just
do
get
have people everywhere that.
And
I
that's
just
what I
get
said. I
slightly
said certain people will do it just because they appreciate it and they love it and they want it. but there are other people that on the opposite side. Just like me and my whiskey collection, I got 30 plus bottles. Like there's bottles that I buy that I want to consume because I've been actually looking for it. I've been researching it and doing this. Even but there's other people that just do it just to resell it on the secondary market or just to say I had it or never opened a bottle. But I went to the dude at the liquor store, and he said he showed me stuff because I always buy stuff. I always talk to him about certain bottles, and only reason he showed me it one of my bottles of Booker's. He was like, I would know you appreciate it. I know you're gonna actually want it and actually drink it, compared to if I sold it to this dude that only calls in and say, hey, you got any vintage bottles? You got any of this? Because I know he wants to sell it. I know he wants to brag about it. So like I said, I'm not saying every single person that buys this Funko card or Funko Pop or this Pokemon card are doing it for that, but they are people out there. They have a whole thing on social media for it, just to show it online. Like this is, I got this bottle, I got this card, I got this shoe. There are people that's their livelihood, so they do it because of that. But like I said, there are people that do it because they love it and they appreciate it. Of course, I'm not taking away from them, but I'm saying there are people that buy it just to flex.
Cool, I guess. I just thought, I guess being a collector of things, I just never really appreciated the stigma of, oh, you're buying just to flex. And furthermore, what is wrong with saying like, yeah, I just amassed this decent collection. Yeah, I'm gonna show it off real quick. You know what I'm saying? Like,
True.
if my display is nice, like you even said yourself, you have all these bottles of whiskey that I'm sure at some point when people come in your house or whatever, they're like, oh dang, you want to show that off. Like that's not you flexing, that's you like they're appreciating what you appreciate, right? So like you come into my office and you're gonna see like Mildred's side where she's super into Sailor Moon. So then she's got her Sailor Moon stuff, right? And she's not flexing, she's really into it. On my side, I've got Bear Bricks and Funko Pops because that's art to me and it's dope. But yeah, I might want to flex it because yeah, I got a limited edition joint you couldn't get. I didn't buy it to flex. But what's wrong with
Like you
showing
just said,
off?
I'm flexing, but I'm not buying the flex. But like I
But two
said,
things. My point is two things can be true though. I didn't buy it to flex. I bought it because I appreciate it. And if there's an opportunity to show it off, why not?
I didn't say
I
there's
think
anything wrong with it, but
Well,
what the problem is when they have that as a market, when people do it, that drives up the prices. That's why Harold
Supply and demand,
can't buy
fam.
this $10,000 joint or $1,000 vinyl, because people buy it just because of that, unfortunately.
yeah, I think that's probably not that's a problem. It's still not a problem, but the part that'd be annoying is that if it's you, Don, you got like you mentioned like the Michael Jordan Funko Pop, and all of a sudden like out of nowhere you decide, or if you have that in the background, obviously in our videos and stuff like that, but then you decide to go out there and you get a Funko Pop of like Napoleon Dynamite or some random where it's like never saw the movie, don't care. I just know that this is limited AF. I'm gonna get it, and once I get it, I'm immediately gonna put up on my wall so everybody can see it. That's the part where, again, not wrong, but me, I get annoyed at like that because yeah, if Harold wanted to get, the weekend, like the trilogy, like whatever, but because other people that have no care whatsoever about the weekend, but they know it's in high demand, they're gonna get it, snatch it up, and like either resell it or just be able to have it just to have it. It's like, no, you
Yeah.
don't even appreciate it. Why the fuck are you doing it? Those people and that I have a problem with, or I'm not a big fan of it. Again, they can live their life, but that's where I would be concerned.
Yeah, it's the scalpers that, hey, I bought, 5 or 10 freaking Nintendo Switches and back in the day or whatever. I'll buy all these Xboxes to resell it. I'll buy all this damn toilet paper from Costco to freaking sell it. Like that's the problem I have with the people, but it is what it is. Like you gonna do what
yeah,
you're gonna do. People are gonna do it. They always done it. They're always gunning to do it. But like I said, I ain't
yeah,
mad
we've
at
had
it.
that
At the
discussion
same
before
time, I'm
about
mad.
capitalism. That's
Yeah, that's
the
all it is.
sickness.
True.
All
And
right, well, it was good to
no,
see y'all. We got to wrap this up.
yeah.
All right.
Don's gonna get back on the road.
Actually, I do have another one at
Looking
12:30
forward
today.
more Funko Pops.
I got another one. I got another route at 12:30. So yeah, a couple hours.
Yeah,
Uh,
rest, relax, breathe a little bit, enjoy the
Brian's
fam, and then
Brian's got
go.
to do some more research so he can win that betting money on March Madness.
it's a slow day sports gambling wise, at least at the moment. 'Cause I still be watching people that have their different suggestions, this and this and this, and
Sidebar,
if
can
anything,
people did people bet on the Olympics? Is that like a thing? Like
Mhm.
that America might get silver or that
Dude,
whatever?
the
They bet on
gambling world
everything.
is so expanded. You can bet on anything right now, like
I know, I'm just saying, was that
anything.
like a thing that that came? I never saw like FanDuel odds on the bottom of like, oh, and by the way, like
If you
it's
don't,
infiltrated every sport, but I didn't see it like in your face on Peacock.
It's bad.
if it's not on the
It's
app, you
bad.
can go online. You go to Vegas. Vegas has everything. So yes, there is how many golds are they're going to get. Is such and such going to hit this? Are they going to beat this world record? Is there going to be a new? It's yes. The Olympics definitely had bets.
Yeah,
They
100%.
got
They bet on everything. They bet on the
they
streaker for
got
the
this
Super
app.
Bowl. They bet on everything.
They got this app Kalshi, Kalshi, I
SHI.
think it is.
Yep.
And like that, you can just bet on any like you bet on politics, like who's gonna be
Mhm.
elected for this, that, movies. Oh, like this movie is gonna get this rating or that rating, like star wise and like approval wise. And so
Crazy.
yeah, it's out of control. And like yes, it's something that can definitely be addictive to people. And then so it's the one they always have that like 1-800 number if you're a gambler and everything. So you just gotta if you're a person that knows your limits, or if you know, like, oh, hey, like I have a problem or I have an issue with this, like as you can see, I'm telling you this, my wife still eavesdropping in the background, just giving me the side eye. Hey, I don't have a problem. We still got a house. We're still affording the house and everything. I'm gonna go ahead and mute myself before she tries to say some shit though. But yeah, we good. We good. We good.
Quick thing, real quick, since you brought up the movies, have y'all seen that trailer for that Scary Movie 6 joint?
It just came
Oh, they
out
have one out
7.
already. They have.
Yeah, they
I
have a
didn't know they had
trailer.
one out yet.
I
Yeah, they
think Scary
had
Movie
like
7.
they
Oh, Scary Movie, not Scream. I thought it was
Yeah,
something.
Scary
yeah,
Movie
Scary
7.
Scary
movie. Yeah,
Movie.
yeah.
Scary Movie. Yeah, they had like a little sneak peek. Marlon did like a sneak thing during the new Scary Movie, not Scary Movie, but Scream. They had a little
Okay.
preview of that, and now it's online, circulating everywhere. But have y'all seen that? I guess obviously you haven't. Yeah,
Um,
look at it. It's they go in from the beginning, hitting tempers and stuff. Like, okay, they talk about
nice.
So I know you don't go in
I'm
theaters. Is
looking
that one you
forward to
would see in
that.
theaters?
nah.
I saw the trailer and I'm already kind of turned off, so I'm probably gonna pass on it. I wasn't the biggest fan of.
Wow.
Well, because in the trailer, really quick, it's like, I'm not giving anything away of the movie, but like they're on a bus, right? And
Subway, yeah.
Scream Man goes to like stab a chick, and like he's stabbing her, and then someone goes, "Oh my God, he's stabbing her," and then she goes, "No, I'm a they them." Like say they them. You're just stabbing, and already I'm like, yeah, I'm good, bro. Like it's
They're trying
it,
to
it,
make sure they hit every offensive thing they can. So it's
That's
probably gonna be
funny to
extra.
me. Like it's
You know,
like
I'll watch it. I won't go to the movie theater to watch it, but I'll watch it because it's all their movies. They try to be as offensive as they can, and they said there's nothing's gonna be off touched.
oh, I'm
They're just
here with the offensive. I'm here with the offensive comedy. I don't know. I feel like it's late. It's been done. I'm alright.
and
yeah.
that's one aspect of the movie that first and foremost to note. But I like that stupid comedy to an extent.
Oh, me
If the
too.
entire movie's like that, yeah, I'd probably be like over it. And obviously, I haven't
That's
seen the
why they're only
trailer,
like
so
80 minutes. Don't even fit the full 90. Like
Yeah.
once I see the trailer, I'll have a better idea of whether or not I'm gonna watch it. But first, when I first found out they were gonna make another scary movie, and it was gonna be the Wayans coming back to doing it, I was already on board. I was like, game, because one, you look at the whole list, like I think there are like 6 of those movies so far. You look at all of them, the only ones that are dope are the first two that again, Marlon and Sean and all of them were involved in, right? And one to support the black man, their project back and them doing it, it can't be any worse than like again like number 5, 6, 7, or 4, 5, 6, like
Yeah.
even the ones before that, so I mean like I'm definitely looking forward to it. I don't
Yeah, I'll
watch a
watch
lot
it.
of movies in theaters anymore, although I did see that Goat with the kids, Steph Curry's movies. All right, whatever. And we'll probably see some more kids movies. I think one came out today.
Hopper.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so we'll probably see a whole bunch of those things. But yeah, like as far as movies intentionally for me to watch myself, usually I'm waiting until they come out on streaming or something of that nature if I acquire them in different ways. and that's pretty much it. But I'm not trying to spend like $100 to go to theaters because this is a movie that, again, had the way my perspective, it hasn't come out since number two, way back when. That's the reason I have motivation to go see it in theaters to support them. But I'll
Right.
hold my judgments until I do see the preview.
For sure.
The preview is just it's mid. It doesn't like make you want to see it, but I just like I'll watch it because. But they supposedly he was saying if it how successful it is, if it's that successful, he's going to do White Chicks 2 and something else. I was like, that doesn't need to happen. I was like, you did your thing on there. You don't need to ruin it, but we'll see. Like I said, I'll watch
in
it.
this culture, I don't think people will vibe with White Chicks too. Like that, I didn't even like the White Chicks, to be honest. That first one, I was like, whatever.
Yeah, it was
And they
mid.
did like 50 Shades of Black, like that as well. Like, Scary Movie was funny. Those are cool. Like, again, Don't Be the Menace or I'm Gonna Get You Sucker. All those like kind of parodies are cool, but just some things just don't vibe. And White Chicks was one of those for me.
I feel you. It was mid. It wasn't anything epic, but like I said, I'll watch it. Not gonna be first in line or anything like that, but it'll get watched.
Ooh.
So,
All right, man.
All right,
See y'all
I'll let
again.
y'all do your thing. Y'all have a good rest of y'all weekend.
sir.
A good rest.